some experience.
What up, guys? Welcome back to 3 Rounds. I know I haven't been doing the show because I've been in training camp. I've been talking, just getting ready because it's hard to do 15 minutes. But I'm ready for a 15-minute fight. I'm ready back for 3 rounds. I'm ready to go. Are you? Come on, man. Let's get to the fight because we got news, baby. We got news. Let's go.
I'm gonna show you.
All right. It's time for round 1. Let's go. We haven't done this for a while, so I got to make sure I'm warmed up. But you know who doesn't need a warm-up because they just got out of the octagon? Your boy, Matt Brown, who tied Derek Lewis last weekend for the knockout record in the UFC. Look, guys, when you start getting records, when you start knocking people out even at 42, when you start getting into the record books, you start to kind of feel good about yourself. You start to really feel yourself. Matt Brown's feeling himself. He said that he would fight Conor McGregor. He was so sure that he goes on record, calling out Conor at the post-fight press conference and then doing it again, saying, it's crazy. It kind of blew up on me. I'd fight him for it, meaning the record. Wouldn't you? It's like, fuck yeah, bro. You want the record? Come and get it, bitch. It's Matt Brown talking. He goes, I think that it would be a great fight. I just don't know if Conor is actually coming back. I'm pretty well convinced that he's not even going to ever fight again. I think he just likes being in the spotlight, and I think he likes people talking about him. We all do it constantly. He likes being heard. He likes the ego boost and all that kind of stuff. Hey, guys, someone asked me the other day, would you come back to fight this guy? I said no. Only guy I'm coming back to fight is Conor McGregor because I know what it does for your career. If you beat him, it completely changes everything. And we have seen it time and time again. Guys just weren't beating him before. But I saw it when Khabib beat him. When Khabib beat this guy, his level of stardom went to a different level. Khabib and Conor don't get along, and they never will. But Khabib would even tell you that he had to recognize the difference in his profile after the McGregor fight and before the McGregor fight. Dustin Poirier, same thing. When you lose to Conor McGregor, nothing changes. But when you beat him, everything changes. Dustin Poirier went to Abu Dhabi with about 2 million Instagram followers, left with 4. Khabib went into Las Vegas with a few million Instagram followers, left with about 10. It's that much of a difference when you beat a guy that possesses the star quality that Conor McGregor does. But there's something to that. Matt Brown is shooting his shot, and why not? He recognizes that. He sees it. Anybody with half a brain would see it. But even though you shoot your shot, listen to the names that I just told you. If you beat him, you become a bigger star. You also got to listen to the name of the people that he fought. And Matt Brown, I don't think fits the bill. You're talking Khabib. You're talking Dustin Poirier, champion, interim champion. You're talking Cowboy Cerrone. He's had 30-some UFC fights like Matt, but has fought for belts and everything else. You would never think that Cowboy was a guy that has kind of traveled and just been in the game. I don't know if Matt fits the bill, and that's why Conor responded in the way that he did. He almost no-sold him, calling it a woeful attempt at getting a fight. No disrespect to Matt, but I don't think it makes sense for McGregor to respond to him. Just like Jones getting his name called by everyone and just ignoring the ones that don't truly fit the bill to get the fight. Because what's the point in building someone if you never have the intention of fighting them? What's the point in Conor McGregor actually speaking about Matt Brown when he won't fight Matt Brown? Because what's the benefit to fighting Matt Brown? You saw it all the way back to Jeremy Stephens.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Who the fuck is that guy? This was Jeremy Stephens, a guy that knocked so many people out. So many people out, and Conor no-sold him. But he was up there standing across from Jose Aldo. He was up there standing across from Eddie Alvarez, Khabib Nurmagomedov. You have to fit the bill to fight Conor McGregor. So while Matt Brown's shot is shot, I don't anticipate it turns into anything. But at least he gave it a chance. And speaking of being back, Matt Brown doesn't believe that Conor McGregor is going to be back, but you know what is back? The BMF title, baby. That they say black is beautiful, and that title is a beautiful title, right? I don't care what you think about the meaning of that title. When you look at the BMF title, you recognize it's a beautiful belt. It is a beautiful belt. With The Rock walking out to present it in Madison Square Garden, it felt big. It felt big. It felt like we were seeing something different. The BMF Championship was almost created based on the words of Nathan Diaz in Anaheim in 2019. Because Gamebred was in the crowd after Nate beat Anthony Pettis and said, I'm the baddest motherfucker. I know another bad motherfucker that I can fight, and his name is Jorge Masvidal. Light bulb went off. Like, yo, we can create a title to have these two dudes fight. People talk about there's a rumor that there has to be a belt on the line to main event a pay-per-view. I don't know that that's true. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. But I don't think that that's why it was created. I think Nate had a pretty good idea, and the people in the know and the people in charge were like, yo, this makes sense because now we have something to fight for. Everybody wants to fight for something. And when you talk about bad motherfuckers, Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier come to mind immediately. These two guys are going to fight for the second time. First time they fought in 2018. They were both good. Very exciting guys in the UFC, and we all look forward to the fight. But today, they're two different fighters. Gaethje had just lost for the first time in his career when Eddie Alvarez had knocked him out. And at the point that they fought the first time, Dustin Poirier had been up and down. They were not the complete versions of themselves that they are today. Because for as good as Justin Gaethje was, that was only his fourth appearance inside the octagon. He was not ready. He was not prepared to go to the top like he has now. Dustin Poirier was finding his footing at 155 and truly becoming an elite lightweight. These guys today are both former interim champions and worked their way back to title fights another time. Poirier losing to Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje losing to Khabib Nurmagomedov. This is the fight to make for the BMF championship because there is no one like these two. And while Justin Gaethje is a little more forward with his crazy, Dustin Poirier is about as much of a dog as you're ever going to find. He's crazy too. He just doesn't say it as outwardly as Justin Gaethje. But when you listen to the words of Dustin Poirier, he's a dog. I'm telling you, I know people from Louisiana, and he is about as down home as they come, and he is going to fight you whether you're in the octagon, on the streets, at a basketball game, football game. It don't matter where you at. If you pick a fight with Dustin Poirier, he's ready to fight you. Same goes for Justin Gaethje. Has no emotion when it comes to the fight. Very rarely do you find people that comfortable in the uncomfortable. Justin Gaethje is comfortable in that uncomfortable. I love the location. Love the location. These fans were starved for mixed martial arts. And when they got Usman versus Edwards 1, they absolutely showed out. One of the loudest crowds that I have been a part of in a really long time. They showed out because they got a sport that they all love to watch. But I ask you this question. Is this new champion going to defend the BMF title? I believe that these two athletes would go up. They would fight at 155, and they would defend that belt. Because if we're going to keep rolling it out, it has to become a thing that gets put on the line. Especially if these guys aren't fighting for championships. But here's the issue. Masvidal didn't seem to want to defend that championship, even though people called for it many times. Is The Rock going to be there again and make it feel as important as it did in Madison Square? The winner is going to set themselves up for another crack at the championship with Makhachev being the champ, a new champion's place. And it's always easier, guys, to call for a title fight when you're carrying a belt on your shoulders. And that's exactly what one of these two are going to do in Salt Lake City. But let's not defend the BMF championship because now it means something. All right, guys, before I get to round 3, today's video sponsors the Game Time app. The Game Time app is the leader in last-minute ticket purchases, from basketball games to football, UFC comedy shows, and concerts. You can get tickets cheaper by using the Game Time app. It does not matter where you are, where you live. Use the Game Time app to get out there and do something fun. And here's a little bit of a cherry on top. Use the promo code DCTV for $20 off of your first purchase. Once again, download the Game Time app right now. Get out and have some fun and use the code DCTV for $20 off of your first purchase. I want to have fun, and I use the Game Time app for all of it. Hell, maybe I'll see you out in Salt Lake City. Last-minute ticket purchases are made easier with the Game Time app. All right, guys, as I get into round 3, I'm going to talk a little bit about UFC 291, but one quick thought. What if the BMF champion becomes the champion? Are we now in a situation like Roman Reigns, where you got the double championship belt and you defend them both? That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Let me say something. I love storylines. And whew, what a storyline that would be. UFC 291 from Salt Lake City, Utah. It might just be the greatest card announced this year in terms of star quality, former champions, important fights at the very top, going all the way down, at least in terms of the card that we know today. You have former interim champions Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje fighting. You have former light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz taking on a former middleweight champion Alex Pereira. You have former interim champion Tony Ferguson competing in the octagon. You also have former title challengers Paulo Costa, Derek Lewis, and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. This is, guys, on paper, a tremendous fight card. And as I spoke about in the last round, there is crowds, and then there are crowds. Salt Lake City crowd deserves this. That's why there is another pay-per-view in July, and it stays here. Initially, this pay-per-view was going to be in London or something. It stays here in Salt Lake City because these people were that excited about the fight. Last time I was in Salt Lake, I went to dinner, and there's a restaurant Dana loves so much, he was just going out there on the way home to pick up the food to go and eat it in his hotel. I can't remember the name of the place, but he loves that place. The restaurants are great. I found straight Louisiana food in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I ate that restaurant every single night. It was walking distance from the hotel. It's a tremendous town. Never would have thought. Great golf courses, great food, great fans, and they deserve this fight card. How does Alex Pereira do against Jan Blachowicz? Let me ask you this. Does Jan Blachowicz just fight him in the way that he fought Izzy late in the fight? Because that would seem to be the easiest way to take on the challenge of Alex Pereira. But we have also seen that legendary Polish power put many people out. So what would make Blachowicz not feel like he could stand and trade with Alex Pereira, especially after we just saw Izzy knock him out? I already spoke to you about Gaethje versus Poirier. Unbelievable. Bobby Green gets an opportunity. Bobby Green was one of those guys during the pandemic that his messages really spoke to a lot of people. His positiveness, the way that he looked at the world really did uplift a lot of people. But lately, it hasn't been going good for Bobby Green. So it's going to be on Bobby to change the narrative. Not only be a shining light, the reason those messages meant so much also was because he was winning. In the pandemic, he was winning. Because he was winning, people were paying attention. Tony Ferguson would seem to be on his last leg. But if there's anyone that can turn back the clock, it is El Cucuy. He had moments against Nate Diaz. But in Bobby Green, he has a guy more his size. Paulo Costa versus Ikram Aliskerov. Guys, this Aliskerov, the fact that he's fighting Paulo Costa in fight number 2 tells you what the company thinks of this guy. and how good they think he can be and the potential you see in Alaskarov. This guy fought against Phil Hawes in his first fight, and now he's fighting Paulo Costa. As anyone had a harder, tough 2 fights to start their UFC career, especially after they came off of the Contender Series, where generally you build guys slowly. Michel Pereira is getting his opportunity against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Pereira has looked amazing in this latest run, but Stephen Thompson has done it many times. He has put guys backwards in their pursuit of getting to the top of the division because he's that good. The Black Beast, Derek Lewis, takes on Marcos Rogerio de Lima. 2 bangers at heavyweight, and Michael Chiesa faces Kevin Holland. Massive fight card from Salt Lake City. Massive stakes for everyone involved, and I cannot wait to sit octagon side with John Anik and Joe Rogan and enjoy the festivities. Let's go. And now for my final thought. The mixed martial arts news cycle has been moving very quickly. We are living in a blessed time because when things are slow, it means that our sport is not going in the right direction. Right now, it's moving. We got Francis Ngannou making history. We got the UFC announcing 2 major cards, also with Aljamain taking on Sean O'Malley for the Bantamweight Championship in Boston. Zhang Weili coming back to defend her championship against Amanda Lemos. There is so much going on in this great sport right now that we should all take a breath and live in it. Let go of why this was done or why this was done. Enjoy the spoils of everything that's happening mixed martial arts. I know that I am. I am a bigger fan today than I have ever been of this beautiful sport that I watch and I cover. You should do that too. Get with your friends. Introduce somebody new to this sport because it is the most true sport that you could ever encounter. Guys, thank you again for joining me for 3 rounds. I'm so happy to be back doing it. I'm so happy to be back home for a little bit. It has been an absolute grind. Until next time, tell your friend to tell a friend that DC's got a YouTube channel. And you can catch 3 rounds, check-ins, Funky and the Champ, and so much more. Till next time, peace.